Right, hello. Let me turn off that background music. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go full screen for the intro. So it's been a day of digesting that result against Lens, which was, in my opinion, a bit of a disastrous performance. But there are a few positives to take from it. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I've had a hectic schedule. I accidentally double booked with Gooner Gathering, so I was just on there. So go back and rewatch or support them now because they're chatting all about the Saka stuff. And now I've done mine before I'm going to the cinema, so it's just been hectic. But I've got a lot of notes and made a really good slideshow. I'm trying to make each one better than the last. So, let's just get straight into it. Bonjour. Hey, Ravi. Long time no see. Good to see you. As you saw, the question at the front of the show is, and hopefully what we will kind of answer as we go through every aspect of this match. This is a deep dive, okay? This is a deep dive of the match. So why did we lose the match? And first of all, Phil has said, I wish I could put my finger on what went wrong. It was just weird. And Ravi saying, answer, Arsenal took the foot off the gas when they were winning and it cost you. Really good point. Honestly, I've been grappling with this and been working all day on rewatching the match, trying to establish what went wrong and what we can learn in the hopes of beating City at the weekend. So let's get right into all the details. It's nerd stat deep dive time. Let's do this. Okay. So Arsenal versus Lens, and I rewatched it. Didn't manage to rewatch the whole of the second half today. But I didn't want to. It was a really hard watch, okay? That game was not good. Not good. Oh, I forgot to say, thank you, Ravi. Please like and subscribe. Our aim today is 40 likes on the live. That'll be amazing. We hit 30 last time. So if you do come in, it should be a PowerPoint goddess. That's like a really lame superhero or something. Captain PowerPoint. I don't even have PowerPoint because I'm on a Mac. I have budget PowerPoint, but anyway, to digress. Thank you so much, Ravi. So like, subscribe. Let's get to 40 likes today. So, as you know, to our absolute dismay, the result ended up being 2-1 to Lens, and we had actually gone up 1-0 to start with, and it left my head feeling absolutely scrambled. This is kind of me all day yesterday, all day today. I wasn't able to do a stream yesterday because I was gardening all day. I work with my sister doing gardening and stuff. All right, Dave, big up. Hi, poor result, poor performance, not fluid in attack, and some bad errors, but we move on. Yeah, it's such a shame. If you guys saw in my preview, I was saying just how important it was to get the win in order to have every little tiny advantage over Man City going into the weekend, because it's going to be such a hard match. Even if we just have a tiny psychological boost from winning in the week, those are the small margins we're always talking about. And now we have to overcome the disappointment of what happened here at Lens. So I've been thinking all of these thoughts all day. Hey, Guna forever. Nice to see you. I'm so bad for double booking. I feel so bad for the guys. Everyone subscribe to Guna Gathering to ease my guilt. So yeah, I accidentally double booked. Sorry. So these have been all the thoughts going around in my head. I overthink everything, as you'll probably see throughout the rest of this PowerPoint. So what happened? Is Saka okay? Why did Arsenal lose? Are we worse than last season? How can we improve against City? Can we beat City? Can we still win the Premier League? Me, I tend to overreact. A classic Gooner, okay? So good evening to you all. Good evening to you too. And we're going to attempt to answer some of these questions today, okay? Thank you very much for joining me this evening. I'm trying to be a bit more religious in doing a preview and a review for every match, and we're going to do it for the rest of the season, hopefully. So jump on board. hit the like, subscribe, and join me for this already roller coaster of a season. So, first of all, I thought we would start with, I think, the question that's been on the forefront of most people's mind, which is Saka okay? Especially going into such an important match against Man City. And Arteta immediately said that it didn't look good after the match, that he had gone down. I thought that I would just read out kind of what happened, but there is actually some good news regarding the injury. But if you need a recap, so according to Daily Mail, this is the latest news. Saka underwent an initial scan on Wednesday and the injury is not considered to be serious at this stage. Thank God. The report adds Saka will undergo further medical tests on Thursday, so that's today, and he's not been ruled out of the showdown with City just yet, with the Gunners still hopeful he will be able to play some part in the contest. That to me suggests that he might be around to come on as an impact sub. So Freddie Ljungberg, who coached Saka in his early Arsenal career, has been questioning. We're going to get into whether Saka should have started. So Ljungberg said, looking at all this makes all the Arsenal fans a little bit worried. He was touching the back of his hamstring. I've been a little bit like, rest him a little bit. I feel like he's played too much. He's still young. And you can say they can run as much as they can when they're young. Rest him. He's the most important player. Give him a break sometimes. I'm a bit worried for Arsenal at the weekend, how they're going to play without him. So that's the great Freddie Ljungberg. I'm not very good at saying the name. Kind of doubting why Saka played. We're certainly going to get into whether you think Saka should have played or not. Just going to digest all of this because my head is still a mess from this game. So Arteta said that it happened when he tried to backheel the ball in the first half, felt something. It was something muscular, which is worrying, and he was uncomfortable to carry on, so we had to take him off. We don't know anything more than that, blah, 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 blah. So worrying. However, today, Bukayo Saka posted this on Instagram, suggesting that he's working out in the gym and, he's tagged a song there called I Believe. So it looks like he's potentially like working back to fitness, might be available. I think he may play a small part on Sunday. But we're going to look. I've got in this PowerPoint, we're going to get into the selection, the substitutions, all of it. Should Saka even have started? So let me just take a quick pause and look at a couple of your comments. So Ravi says you can beat City if you're smart in and throughout the game. Yeah, I totally agree. Turn him into a cyborg, then we can play him all the time. Great idea, Phil. That'll work. Question, if Saka is fit for City, can he last 90 minutes? He probably can. He will, but should he is the question. Hey, new name in the chat. Guno Gargamel. Arteta out. We will lose against City. In fact, we always lose to City as long as Arteta is Arsenal manager. Yeah, I completely respect your opinion. I mean, a lot of people are saying Arteta's like our Brendan Rodgers. He can get us close to the line, but not quite over the line. Personally, I want to see where we finish this season. Then I will be super unhappy if we're not at least second. So we'll certainly be having discussions about whether he's the right manager for us going forward. But welcome. Nice to see you here. Please hit the like button and let's try and get 40 likes today. So potentially might be starting on Sunday. That's the Saka news. Got that out of the way. That's the latest updates as far as I'm concerned, unless any of you have heard more recent updates. Dave, you're pointing out Saka's injury was been hobbling off the last 3 matches. I believe they're looking at him on a day-to-day basis. He's even been included in the England squad. If Arteta allows him to go away to England, I think that's like a travesty. Clearly, he's been really scraping through these matches. What that boy needs is 2 weeks off. I don't know if it's a week, 2 weeks. Give him the international break off. You always see before international breaks, oh, Jack Grealish has picked up an injury and won't be available for England selection. All these players getting pulled out by their managers. Give them a break if we want him to perform his best. So I really hope he doesn't go away with England. Phil, I know. He is only 3 seasons into a new job. As I said, I personally think he is the right guy, but I am going to be asking questions at the end of the season because some of the decisions have been a bit tough, but I do like him. I do tend to defend him. And the spheres that I operate in YouTube aren't as kind on Arteta as me. So fully spent over 600 mil on transfers. Yeah. Southgate and Arteta will play Saka on one leg, honestly. I was looking after a cat with 3 legs the other day. Saka would... I don't even know where that's going. So, back to the match. Let's do this. Right, lineup thoughts. So, if you were with me on our preview, this lineup was actually only one player short of the lineup that I would have chosen myself, you know? So, Arteta must have been listening, of course. What can I say? No, but it was actually quite a significant difference. So I wanted this lineup minus Saka starting. I would have started Nelson. And I'm surprised that he actually went with this lineup. Obviously, Eddie was dropped. I predicted that he would start Eddie, Saka, Ben White. So White was dropped for Tommy, which I thought would be good, but it didn't turn out like amazing. Not that Tomiyasu was awful. But Saka started. And I believe that, you know, some people going into the match were saying we should play a super rotated squad. And then because Saka was injured, they've been saying, this proves that I was right. It should have been more rotated. We shouldn't have risked our best players. However, I see the fact that we still lost, even though we played a strong team, as justifying this start, you know, playing our top players, arguably. However, the question really is sharpened into whether Saka should have started because he's come off injured. You know, it's the worst possible outcome. So Saka was started when people were grumbling, saying, don't start him, rest him. And then he gets injured. So it's like you couldn't write it, could you? You couldn't write it. So what were your thoughts on the lineup, guys? That was it. There you are. So what did you want to see from the team? Me, personally, once we've seen that lineup, what I wanted to see was get the job done nice and early, in, out, then rest Saka as soon as possible, bring off our other key players like Jesus. I was going to say Martinelli, but Martinelli's out. That was what I definitely wanted to see anyway. So I had quite high hopes going into the game, thinking, right, we've gone strong. I was really glad it wasn't a heavily rotated squad like we so often see, especially last season in Europe, although being said that was Europa League. Phil saying, I'd like to see Benny and Tommy down the right if Saka is out on Sunday. Benny and Tommy down the right. So, interesting. What, you're dropping Saliba? Don't know about that, lad. Don't know. So we're going to work through a little bit about what actually happened in this match. And then we're going to get on to my favourite part, probably your favourite parts, which is player ratings. Yeah, we're going to do that in a sec. But first of all, I'm going to go over what happened in these goals. So, first goal. It all seemed to be looking pretty rosy, to be fair. So I've got a few notes. Bear with me. So, immediately when the game kicked off, we had a lot of possession, but you were starting to see a few kind of warning signs, a bit of pace and intensity on these mini breaks that Lens were playing. As predicted, the atmosphere was electric. I was stressing so hard, like how good the atmosphere would be. And I do think in the end that it did play a part in why we just weren't up for the occasion. But anyway, you wouldn't have thought that after the first goal, which came about after a period of patient possession from Arsenal. Saka intercepted a loose pass between two of their defenders and then does a nice clean pass to Jesus, who is running through on goal. He drops his shoulder, beats a man, and has a nice clinical finish, bottom left-hand corner, 13th minute. Well, 13th or 14th minute, as you can see. So you couldn't really ask for a better start. And, you know, fantastic. Jesus is great in the Champions League. Really good to see him get that goal. Saka helped out. You know, even though he's not been fully fit, Saka's goal and assist ratio has been nuts. But at that point, you're thinking, this might quieten the crowd. This is exactly how we want it to be going, you know. Let's get another one, quiet the crowd down, and take off some of our best players. And unfortunately, things start to go a bit awry from here onwards. So after this goal, basically, they had a couple more like dangerous moments. They're a really physical team. really dangerous on the break, which is what we said in the preview. And it just seemed like we were kind of caught out. But so Raya had to make a couple of saves within like the first 5 or 6 minutes. So this is before we were 1 goal up. So we were just getting lots of like little warning signs. And although we were 1 goal up, we were keeping possession, but really not translating that at all into any chances in the final, in getting into their box. So after we scored, they had a couple of mini breaks and we mainly held possession. We looked dangerous. We looked good. It looked like we might well go and get a second. We were definitely passing it around a lot, loads and loads of passes, probably too many in my opinion. And it seemed like in time we would get a goal. However, in the what minute? Let's see. We had no real like final passes into the box, and in the 25th minute, completely outside the run of play, against the run of play, Tomiyasu actually scores, and this has been actually I forgot to say before this, Saka has taken off for Vieira, but we already spoke about the Saka injury. We'll talk about Vieira later. We'll talk about the substitutions later. Let me just get through this. I'm so stressed out about this result. Okay, you don't understand. So second goal, the Raya disaster class, and I rewatched this. I'm losing my mind because I rewatched this goal about 10 times to try and work out what went wrong, because we were really dominant at this point, and just out of nowhere, they end up scoring. This guy Thomason. So what actually happened? We're attacking. Odegaard turns away, decides to pass it all the way back to Saliba. I noticed a trend actually of Odegaard really never like turning and running towards goal. Every single time he was turning and pass it around backwards, whether that was through direction or just he was feeling intimidated, I don't know. But we're in this lovely period of possession. Odegaard, he turned, passed it halfway back across the pitch to Saliba, and Saliba passed it back to Raya, who's way outside of his box, doing his sweeper keeper thing. And then Raya, he's not even under pressure. He takes a couple of touches nice and calmly of the ball. Their players aren't pressing him particularly. And he attempts a long ball to Tommy, but it's really high, loopy and slow. And it's not completely accurate. And what happens is a Lens player drives forwards aggressively and intercepts the ball, gets to the ball before Tommy, and they start a really quick break. And I think I would say that the culpability here is on Raya for doing a really sloppy long ball, but also Tommy for not running towards the ball. He stood there and waited for the ball to come to him. And this Lens player like drove aggressively, wanted the ball first, got it, and suddenly we're on the back foot. They're pacey, attacky, all of that stuff coming right at us. So then he passes it. That guy passes it to Wahi at the top of the box. This is like dunk, 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 goal. Coming from this Raya mistake. So they pass it, dunk, top of the box. Wahi passes it out to Tomiyasu, who's basically unmarked. Saliba and what's the other one? Reiss don't really track him. They don't notice this guy Tomiyasu running in on the outside, and he scores a screamer, to be fair. He scores a really, really good goal. And 25th minute, we are back to 1-1. So nice to see Dave and Phil in the chat talking to each other. Let me continue with the presentation. We'll do some comments in a minute. So yeah, that's the second goal. Really lights up the already incredible atmosphere within the stadium. However, it's early on in the match. You're expecting us to pick ourselves up and continue, keeping possession, get another one, which does not turn out to be the case. So we get all the way to the 69th minute, and kind of if I was going to summarize the game until then, we look a bit brighter coming out of the second half, but we're just doing all this. They look even better. Like they look like they all had 10 Red Bulls when they went in at halftime. But we come out and we're just doing this really stagnant pass up in the final third, like around their deep low block. We're just passing so many passes, and no one's like making a run into the box. It's not penetrating at all. We have a couple of different chances, but we'll get more into that in kind of player ratings and stuff. Yeah, it's a bit back and forth. Tommy has a good chance. Tommy chance a lot. Yeah, not many clear-cut chances. I was getting frustrated thinking, isn't this what Havertz was for when we're struggling with our passing play, to have a tall player run into the box and receive a header? Is that not what Havertz is for, like a different profile of striker? I don't know. What do you guys think? And I also noted that nobody was driving at their players, just passing. If you watch it again, that's just all we were doing. And it wasn't like quick passing either. It was slow and sloppy. And Trossard had quite a good chance at the 48th minute. But the ball is defended quite well. Trossard, we're going to get onto player ratings, don't worry. I mean, you can see from my body language just how like pedestrian and plodding it was. We just had no explosivity, no dynamism compared to them, who looked like a hair out of a trap. Is that a saying? I don't know. But anyway, 69th, 69th minute. They attacked down the right-hand side, which they started doing throughout the whole of the second half. I think at half-time, their very good coach has said, look, attack down the right, because their player Zinchenko's like completely out of position doing his inverted thing. So they run down the wing. Why he paces. So our players are running back, Saliba, Gabriel, those guys, whereas Wahi holds his run so that he's kind of left in the space, like before them. If you watch it, it will make sense. And Saliba and Gabriel and Reiss, those guys like drop, like don't pay attention to him basically. And yeah, he gets it and scores. And from there, we've still got 20 minutes or whatever it is. But a mad stat actually is that after the third goal, we didn't have a shot on target for 15 minutes or something. So there was just no response to this goal, even though there was a lot of the match left and there'd been a few, and we just got sloppier and sloppier, and they just grew into the second half. 100%. We do have a great fullback, but he is on loan. Yeah, I mean, a good substitution would have been Tierney at that point, wouldn't you think? But then Zinny does like contribute so much to our forward play. It's just all a bit misbalanced at the moment. And you guys are right. Dave, you're right too, saying it's a Pep thing, Phil. Inverted fullbacks. I would like to see my fullbacks defend first. Yes, I feel like a lot of the defensive responsibility is just on... It's almost a back three, isn't it? Saliba, Gabriel, and Tommy. Even Tommy was pushing up quite high. So it's just on Saliba and Gabriel. And if they're like not at 100% every game, then we can make these errors. But yeah, what was really disappointing was how we didn't respond. And yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the substitutions and what you thought. So what did you think when Saka goes down at about the 30th minute? Arteta brings on no one else but Fabio Vieira, and sorry, this is just the one game where we've already had 30 minutes, right? So you've seen how physical it is, and they're big boys. The atmosphere is insane. Why are you bringing on Fabio Vieira? In fact, I thought, why would you bring on Fabio Vieira? And actually kind of worked out. So what I think Arteta was trying to do is basically, where's it gone? So I was wondering, why didn't you bring on Reiss? And in a physical dynamic game like this, you'd think bring on Reiss. He's a bit more like for like with Saka. However, it suggested bring on Vieira. The Arteta is not trying to match them. It's quite clever, really, like physical to physical. He's trying to, in fact, play clever players and to try and like out technical play them, not get all combative with them. However, I think our passing was just too sloppy and slow for that. I understand what he's trying to do. Let's like outsmart them, yeah, like pass around them. But we're not prime Barcelona at the moment. The passing just was not working. It was too slow. It wasn't clever. It wasn't techie. And bringing on Vieira, it was just more of the same, really. I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it was just an odd substitution, I thought. And I understand sticking with your gun and say this is the style of, this is our tactics. We're gonna do the million passes tactic. But it just, we didn't pull it off. So 71st minute. This is quite soon, I think, after we go 2-1 down, and you're bringing off Zinchenko, which is fair enough, to be fair, because we were talking about how Lens' second goal was caused by that huge gap Zinchenko leaves behind him. So Zinchenko's brought on, taken off for White. So what happened there? Did Tomiyasu go left back? You guys let me know. And I guess White would have gone on to right back, I presume. But anyway, that substitution made sense. Havertz is taken off for Smith Rowe, and we're going to get on to player ratings, don't worry. But I like that substitution, personally. Trossard taken off for Nelson. Again, a good substitution. Could it have happened a bit earlier? And then finally, Odegaard, who had been a ghost all game, is taken off for Nketiah, who's only given 10 minutes to try and do something, anything. That feels like a real throw of the dice, you know. This game was bad, man. So Arsenal Vision guys suggested there's a substitution hierarchy at our club. Seems like it. Whereas in fact it should be, but through looking at what's happening right now, and then they understand it way better than I do, than most, like you guys do, and reacting to what's going on at the time. And Arteta's getting better at doing these earlier substitutions, but he's still, I feel like, a couple of years behind all the other managers who are a bit more experienced when things aren't going, 100% smoothly. So Martinelli is always a big miss. You have no idea. I was missing Martinelli so much, seeing Trossard playing out on the left wing. He was totally out of position, had barely any of the skill set that Martinelli has out there. He's such a big miss. So you make a really good point there, Dave. So, oh God, I'm going to send you all to sleep. If you want an early bedtime story, this is going to be it. So I was looking at a couple of stats. Am I going to zoom through them? Don't worry. I'm not big into stats, but there are a couple of things that are quite interesting. So anyway, that was a little meme for you all. Studies show that 3 out of 4 people make up 75% of the population. Statistics. Yeah. The sooner we move on from that, the better. So basically, I was surprised seeing how much possession we had. Basically, 70% possession. Oh, thank you, Phil. I'm glad you guys are here. It's hard just talking to a screen. Thank you so much for still being here. But I won't hate you if you leave. It's okay. So they won more duels, which is what we were saying earlier on, that this team will be someone that that will probably fight for it a bit more, which you can see by marginally more duels won. Aerial duels, more of them won too. And those two stats there suggest just more keenness to win the ball, basically, in my opinion anyway. We made a few more interceptions than them. Offsides, they had lots more offsides than us. So, I mean, well done our defence, I guess. Not that it really helped. We won a few more corners. But yeah, this is the interesting part. So you guys just saw how much possession we had. Actually, I don't know. I mean, what do you make of this? Connor, bro, help me have a look at these stats, because we had more possession. We had just one more shot than them. For having 70% possession and just have one more shot than them, that shows how little we took advantage of our huge periods of possession. They had the same number of shots as us. Us were a bit more on target, which I'm actually surprised by, because it felt like we had no shots on target, basically. Only one shot outside the box when we have that much passing possession. like outside of their low block. Only one shot outside the box. I was getting so frustrated, especially with Odegaard. The amount that he would receive the ball just outside their box and then turn and continue passing round. Just a couple of times. It's not all on the manager as well. What, 60th, 70th minute? Try and switch up your play. You know, our attacking guys, like use your nous a little bit. Say it's obviously not working. I'm going to try and just turn and drive. Take a shot outside the box. We took one shot from outside the box. Not happy. Not happy with that. And 10 from inside the box. So, yeah, that just shows it really. We wait for that perfect final ball to go into their penalty area and then a perfect goal, which is this problem that we've been complaining about for a while. And I thought Havertz was going to help us. But, bro, you're saving me from listening to the beautiful new OMD track. What does that stand for? I'm sorry. And a bit of Sophie writing. No, don't listen to sad music and write emotional things. You'll just end up crying. Or at least that's what happens to me. But thank you for being here. Connor's saying I'm trying to forget about the Lens game. I wish I could. This is my way of getting it out of my system. Connor, I'm trying to work out what happened. This game is tormenting me. We just couldn't break down Lens, in my opinion. Very well-drilled side. That's I should just read that out and then quit the show. Like, you've really got away with words. But as an overthinker, I like to try to break it down and see what we can learn going into Man City. What to avoid, what we did well, what we didn't do well. And this was not good. Although I don't think we're going to have this much possession against Man City. I'd like us to see actually playing a bit more on the break, perhaps at Man City, a bit like we did at the... What's that cup called that we won? What cup did we win? That cup. Yeah. Tackles, clearances. They made many more tackles than us. Blah, 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 blah. This is the killer stat for me. So, final third passes. Look how many more passes in the final third we have than them. And you can see at the bottom, just before the 15th minute mark, that is where we score. And look at the goals they score and how little chances they have and possession in our final third, and yet they win the match. We could have had 90% possession in their final third and still not won, because it's about how efficient you are with that possession. Look how little possession they have in our defensive third. Like barely any, and you can see where they scored those 2 goals just out of nowhere. And what do? Is it sloppy defending? Sure. However, I'm just really disappointed with, how we didn't use all of this possession and convert it into goals. Orchestral maneuvers in the dark. I've heard of them. I did like a music degree, and we studied them, but I wasn't around. I'll have to have a listen. Cool band. Niall, hello. Does this suggest our front line aren't effective? I think it may well do that, Arsenal Manic. Thank you very much for coming in, guys. Let's see if we can get to the 40 likes. Thank you for joining. So it does suggest it. Are we missing Martinelli? I think hugely, because Trossard and the whole left-hand side was really, really ineffective today. We love having possession, but no intelligence in the final box. You're so right. The decision-making, just that final pass, it's so disappointing. I mean, it's crazy, that graph anyway. So this was the stat that got me as well, saying Arsenal didn't manage a single shot in the 15 minutes after Lens scored their second goal. Not a single shot. It was so pedestrian. And then 5 of Arsenal's 11 shots came from the 85th minute onwards. So we had 6 shots before the 85th minute. 6! I cannot. And then 5 in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the match. And to me, that just shows that you can switch it on if you want to. But we were just far too complacent, not enough intensity. And then the final 5 minutes, now you're turning it on a little bit. Or is that to do with the substitutions, to be fair? It could be. But that's pretty damning. Credit to Orbinio. Oh, no. I'm live at the same time as everyone else. No wonder, because I haven't seen some of you guys. Oh, Connor, that actually means the world. Thank you, bro. I try my best. I try my best. 17 likes, like and subscribe. Considering we're live at the same time as everyone else, big up to you guys for coming and dropping in the chat. Thank you. Now I feel like I have to be super entertaining so that you stay. Please stay. No, I'm kidding. Hit the like button. Hello, Taib. I can't believe it. I'm going to have to go live at a different time next time. But there we are. I think most people are probably starting their City previews already, but we're going to do that a day or two later. Bro, what an awful performance that was. You were right to be worried about the game. Trust me, guys, if you were here, let's get Fran 600 subscribers. Sorry, I've got the attention span of a... I'm not going to say goldfish because they're quite smart. But oh, now let me not get distracted. You were right to be worried about the game. Yes, so you guys that were here for the preview, actually, it's the worst possible outcome for us to lose yet, but I was so glad that I went so hard on the fact that, like, Lens are a threat and the atmosphere is going to be mad. They're really good defensively. These players are a threat. If you go back, like, we predicted most of it just through, like, researching and that kind of thing, but obviously didn't predict a loss. I thought we'd win 2-0. It was really bad. It was really bad. So a couple of quotes, then we're going to get to my favourite part, player ratings. Hang on in here. Taib saying, I'd rather Arsenal sack Arteta than keep backing him. I've had enough of this crap manager. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Totally respect your opinion. I'm not quite there yet, but you can certainly criticise, you know, one-off performances of the manager as well as players. It doesn't mean that you want the manager out. People are so, like, polarised nowadays. I can say a bad thing about the manager and still mean that I want him, like, here. No, I live somewhere in the grey area between, like, the toxic positive and the, like, the more negative, all pragmatic people, you know. Right, so I had to use this photo. I was researching, like, Arteta, and people had put, like, the Snapchat crying filter on him. So really quick press conference reaction. As Curtis Shaw says, waffle settings. Phil says, you were so super excited about the game. I reckon the boys owe you 3 points Sunday. Yeah, I agree. And they're all watching. I know it. So 3 points on Sunday, please, lads. Arsenal manic thing, lol. Thank you. Fran, your preview was far more entertaining than the game. Facts, Jaws. You sent me with that. Kai Havertz looking like Jaws. So the disrespect. What happened to his drip, lol? I don't know. Arteta had some baggy trousers, by the way. So we're super early into the new season. Things will get better. And I really appreciate you for, like, grounding me. In life, in football, I'm so reactionary. And I'm not even going to lie. Like, I catastrophize everything. Like, someone says one weird phrase to me and I just think, like, they hate me. Arsenal play a little bit bad. I'm like, we're never going to win the league. So this is why people think of Arsenal fans how they do. But, you know, it's part of being a fan. I love it. I love it. So Arteta full-time, let's whiz through this. He said, congratulations to Lens. This is before player ratings. Hang around for player ratings. I need your help. They're a really good side. We knew that. We expected a really tough match, and we faced a really tough match. So, like we predicted, they knew it was going to be tough. They knew the atmosphere would be mad. You know, first home game for Lens in the Champions League in 21 years. They knew it. And what I was saying before in that tacticky bit, I think Arteta's plan was to go in there and outpass them. But the players, the passing just wasn't there today. The speed wasn't there, the intensity, the accuracy. And we were too late to try and switch things up. So we made the most difficult thing, scoring the first goal. We were in total control of the game. That's when we conceded the goal. That's what I was saying. They scored a goal, like, out of absolutely nothing. We had so many passes in their final third, so much possession, and not taken advantage of it. And then they have one chance at the other end and score a screamer. It happens. But that's what happened. After that, we had 4 or 3 big chances to score. And in Europe, you have to kill the game when you have those chances. That's what we're saying, isn't it? Making the most of this possession. That was the difference between today and PSV. Against PSV, in both boxes, we're exceptional, and today we haven't. And when we haven't done it in one area, in our own area, to concede the second goal was poor. I'm hearing this again and again, Arteta. It's about how we perform in the boxes. You know, just saying, could we use an Ivan Toney? Just saying. So we knew that was going to be a battle. You see the atmosphere, you see the team that they are, what they have done last season. Yes. We know. The team now have the chance to bounce back on Sunday when we take on Manchester City in a vital Premier League clash at the Emirates Stadium. It's a huge game for us, the boss added. We have to sort out this one. Yes, we do have to sort this out, Arteta. After 11 games, to have the first defeat is always tough. That's like a backhanded, like, self-compliment. He's saying, like, yeah, but it is our first defeat. Like, all right, mate. It's part of us to test how good we are to come back. Yep, that is the only small positive that I was talking about, Phil, which is that can this be the motivation under the fire, under the player's backside to, light a fire and, cause a reaction against Man City? Perhaps avoid complacency against Man City. We saw quite a lot last season after a defeat or a draw or something like that. We came back way stronger. So I'm hoping they've got it in them to do that rather than perhaps going in a bit complacent. So what are you guys saying? You searched Jaws on Google and Havertz's funny face, not me. That was so funny and entertaining. Well done. We'll have to do one stream just like reacting to like dumb stuff, like dumb football memes and things. That would be fun. So can understand some of our impatience and annoyance. I've been waiting 20 plus years. Yes, I have not been waiting that long, but I'm so frustrated just from like the 5 or so years I've been following really closely. And we cannot forget last season, longest time a team has ever been top of the Premier League and not won it. And the fact that we lost the league because of our own like poor performances and sloppy play. And I said at the end of last season, we need to go one better this season. Already I can feel my standards slipping, saying, well, it wasn't a great transfer window and we got Havertz stuff, so I'll accept second. And I don't think I should. Why should the transfers we bring in make me go, okay, no, maybe not first, but I'll accept second? That shows that it's not the quality of transfers we needed. I really was hoping for some world-class signings that are going to come in and say, right, like now we can do it this year. We can win the league this time. But instead it was kind of like, oh, okay, disappointing. So 18 likes, halfway to the target. If we lose Sunday, I'll be so glad there is an interlull. I will not, because then it will just be 2 weeks of just like wallowing in misery, which is actually, that's kind of what I enjoy. So it's fine. So I'm surprised Arteta hasn't said it's still early this season. He loves saying process so much. He loves saying process. Yeah, so true, Static. He better not lose this game against City. I like your standards, Arsenal Manic. Keeping mine high as well. Hold me to standard. At the very least, have to come away with a draw. They've beaten us 3 years straight. Can't lose at home anymore. Oh my gosh, it's at home. Our defence at home has been so bad. Right. That would be quality, Static says. To be fair, I'm so old, I feel like only yesterday since we last won the title. You're not old, you guys are just wise and wise. Let's say. Lol, Fran, keep your standards high. You will be a nightmare to live with in an inch. Lol. Like, honestly. Right, anyway, so a couple of players have said a couple of things. We'll whiz through these, blah, 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 blah. It's part of the game. We all make mistakes. We're all together of this. We conceded 2 goals, so we're not happy. This defender said that we defended really well, basically. Tomiyasu. So Tommy had quite a good chance late on, and the goalkeeper actually told Tomiyasu like it was lucky that he saved it even, but I don't really care. And Tommy says, I needed to put it in the net and I have to score the next one. Yes, you will. Right. That's all done. Thank you for your patience. We had to get through all the stats and a game overview, the goals. For a bit of context, as we get into the best part of the stream, my favourite part of the stream, hopefully your favourite part of the stream, let's get some background music on just to... Player ratings time. Are you ready for player ratings? I'm so ready. I am so ready. I have 2 pages of notes, mainly about player ratings. So, it's that time. It's player ratings. You're not just happy, you're triple happy, Arsenal Manic. let's get into it. Fran saying, trust me, last 20 years have been a blur. Only seems like yesterday we were still at Highbury, my second home from the late 80s. I never even got to see Highbury. Like, I'm so jealous of you guys, but I might be going in the international break. I might be going on Goonie Gathering, and he's going to like educate me on the history of our club a bit more, and we're going to do some like retro rewatches of like some of those older matches. So keep an eye out for that on my community tab. So, ooh, music, lol. We're moving up. We're moving up. Player rating intro music, hilarious. Thank you. So, without further ado, these are not going to be good. I doubt. There are a couple of players that played well for me, but everyone else was so average. And I need your contributions, so let's do this. So, first of all, way too happy considering that embarrassment. That's just my face. But thank you for your contribution. So I could have like the day from hell. My entire family could die, and I'd still be like, "Hello." It's a coping strategy. Trust me, I'm not happy. It's more like a manic smile. I feel personally attacked. Thank you for coming into the chat though, Bargav. Nice to see you again. Join in on the player ratings. Havertz 10 out of 10, of course. Of course, he's going to be the highest rating of the day. Don't get it twisted. Right, David Raya, David Raya. He was not a ray of light yesterday or whenever it was, let me tell you. So he made a couple of basic saves. Great save, 7th minute. It turned out to be offside. But he wasn't up to the standards that we've seen so far, let's be real. There was one like nervy moment where in the 50th minute he punched the ball away after a cross rather than like collecting it. I think after his shocking mistake for the first goal, which for those of you who've just tuned in, so he, not even under pressure, does like a really looping pass to Tomiyasu, which leads to the Lens equaliser. He wasn't even under pressure. It was loose. It was sloppy. Ended up leading to a goal because Tomiyasu like didn't receive it. Another player beat him to it. Blah 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 blah. If you go back, if you want to hear what happened there, it was so bad. And I think after that, it was really clear that he lost a bit of confidence, basically. So he seemed a bit hesitant, especially from the distribution angle, as you would be after that mistake. I noticed he wasn't trying like those longer balls. He was just passing it really close, playing the safer pass, which I understand. You know, it's after what happened, keep it safe, whatever. But if Arteta is seriously adapting to what the game needs in that moment and treating goalkeepers as outfield players, do you not think, if that's really the logic, that he could have dropped Raya and brought on Ramsdale in the second half? That's just what I'm saying. I'm being devil's advocate. If truly you're adapting, and do you bring on Ramsdale? Raya's lost his confidence. It's going to be a huge second half. We could use a boost of energy. Do you bring in Ramsdale in the second half? I'm just doing that to call out Arteta's BS, basically, where he's saying he's rotating the goalkeepers based on what game we're playing. No, I think Raya's number one. So just, yeah, basically BS on bringing each goalkeeper in depending on the game. So you guys reckon Raya 7 out of 10, bring back Rami? Are you giving Raya a 2 out of 10 because his haircut? What's wrong with his haircut? It's all right. I think he's got quite a nice trim. What? Criticize the trim. Rate Raya's trim. I think it's all right. 2 out of 10, loving it. Arsenal Manic. Phil Magga. Sorry, is this their performance ratings or modelling agency ratings? Bargav, you're saying 2. The goals were world class but didn't contribute anything else. The goals were really good. Let's not get that twisted. So yeah, not much he could do for the goals, but he did arguably cause one of them. So it's not good. Phil reckons Raya hasn't earned the right to be ahead of Rami, and this is a problem of Arteta's own making. Whenever Raya doesn't quite perform, we're going to be screaming for Rami back. If Rami makes a mistake, then it's bring Raya back. It's just like unneeded criticism and noise around the team, and players will read it. And I did feel like the backline did lack a bit of like connection and unity since Raya's come in, because Ramsdale was such a like motivating person from the back and gave them all, you could feel it, like he emanated energy and oneness and teamness and togetherness from the goal. And Raya, it feels like that isn't there at all. He really doesn't have the same personality. He's the opposite. He's very like sterile and calm from what I've seen. And that's what I wanted in this game. I wanted not Ramsdale because he might have got like overwhelmed in the emotions because he's so emotional. But it was just the opposite. There was nothing. It was bland. There was no like communication really between the back line, and the goalkeeper really does make a difference and things like that. So I don't know what you guys thought. Bargav said, again, no one's saving those goals. Player ratings, Tomiyasu 6. Everyone gets a -1. The end. No, I actually don't agree with that. I do not. I don't agree with that. I don't think Tomiyasu is that good. But that's the thing. It's so crazy how I've been watching loads of different people's play ratings and stuff, and everyone can watch the same match, but like come out with such different opinions on the player ratings. It's so mad to me because I was trying to watch it without going in with an agenda or listening to what other people said. I just try and watch it like for what it is and rate what I see. But I think to fully rate like the players, for me, I'd have to watch it 11 times and just look at one player like for the whole match, and then the next match look at a whole other player, because while you're watching one player do this, someone else has done a mistake over there. So it's so hard, but it's so interesting. I love doing it. So Arsenal Manic saying your favourite goal was Galatasaray's second goal versus Man United. I had to get that in. That was glorious. Galatasaray versus Man United. Absolutely beautiful. That was the only consolation for me, was like watching Goldbridge's reactions to their goals and stuff. It was a tiny, tiny sweet relief from the pain I was feeling for Arsenal having lost, but that was beautiful. I can't even lie. Keep hitting the like button and subscribe, everyone. Thank you, Static. Thank you so much. You help so much. So we're going to try and get to 40 likes today. I know everyone else is streaming at the same time. Sorry. But maybe if you're here on replay as well, smash the like retrospectively, and that'll still count. So David Raya, we've got a combination of between 5 and 2 out of 10. Oh, no, Phil said 7. So we've got somewhere between a 2, a 5, and a 7. I personally will give him a 5. So I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10 for the reasons that I said. He made a mistake early on, and perhaps him not being so familiar with the Champions League environment, he also lost a bit of confidence, I thought, and looked hesitant after that and didn't really recover so much. Saved like the basic goals, but didn't do anything outstanding, I don't think. Didn't play any better than Ramsdale could have. Hey, Across the Pond Sports Talk, big up. I saw you in the chat last night on... I always see you in chats. You're everywhere. Thank you for visiting my chat. So some good matches on. Oh man, I'm missing... I didn't even check what matches are on tonight. Keep me updated on any scores. Let me know what matches are playing. So here we go. Raya 5 out of 10. Look, you guys are just like illustrating the point of there's this whole conflict around Raya, Ramsdale, and like we didn't need this conflict. Like Arteta's brought it upon himself, and it's giving the media stuff to like. We don't want this negative noise. Like, I don't know. It's just it's a mess. But I do think it can work. Only if it's fair, though. I think from this performance of Raya, let Ramsdale play the next game if you're fully keeping it fair. But I don't think it is fair. I think it's just David Raya's number 1 now, Ramsdale's second choice. Anyway, so I'm rating for your 0.5 rating of this week. Yeah. Those guys who don't know, for the North London derby, I gave Jorginho a 0.5. I'm still annoyed with him. I'm still annoyed. Maybe a bit less annoyed, but I don't want to see him on Sunday. I'm still annoyed. So anyway, let's get on with it. Zinchenko, Zinny, Alexander, Liverpool 0-0, Xhaka Leverkusen up 2-0. Oh my God, don't. Can you believe we're missing Xhaka? Thank you for the update. Always respect for your channel is growing. Keep going. Thank you. Thank you. The enthusiasm, the intensity shows up. Big matches, Ramsdale. Yeah. Yeah. And if Raya wasn't working, are you actually going to sub goalkeepers? That's kind of my thing. So with so much change in midfield, with Xhaka going and Rice, I need to stop getting distracted by your comments. Zinchenko, right. So for me, actually, he was not that bad at all in the first half, especially. So he was one of a few players that when he was getting the ball was actually running with it, running with the ball at his feet, opening up the midfield. He was asking for the ball a lot. And when he had it, it felt like something was going to happen. He was always offering himself for the ball. You know, have you ever played in a game of football or hockey or whatever, and you've got the ball and no one's there to pass to? Zinni's always offering himself for the pass, and then he runs with the ball. I thought he was really good in the first half. He bossed possession and was commanding the players in the first half, showing some leadership. Nobody else was really driving with the ball, especially in the first half. However, that being said, he got whipped off towards the end of the second half because the way he was playing was just being exploited by players like Wahi and those guys. The inverted thing just wasn't working anymore. Is he just incapable of just sitting back and like defending? So we saw the best and the worst parts of Zinni's game in that match. First half, brilliant, all the forward things, at least in my opinion. You guys let me know if your opinion's different on what you saw. Second half, he's leaving too much space, and that's in the end how they get the winner. So first half, I'm giving him a 6.5. Second half, he gets whipped off early. I'm not sure if I think it was a tactical change, not because Zinni was having like a particularly poor game, to be fair. So Phil, you reckon Zinni 4? Zinni, one of the ones played well. Black and thumbs. What's that mean? Zinni and Odegaard and Rice are always good for being available and showing for the ball. Yeah. How long does he have to play this inverted position with Zinni to understand it's causing us trouble? Good question. Yeah. So thank you for keeping it respectful in the chat, lads. Zinni first half, average second half. So that's a 5 in the second half. Let's give him a 6 overall. Does that sound fair to you guys? Zinni 6 out of 10. Okay, moving on. Right, Big Gabby. Rate Big Gabby's game in the chat. So I don't actually have many notes on him. I'm going to need your help here. He did a few. It was a pretty average game from him, I thought. He did sky a massive chance just before half time. Absolutely skied a volley. It wasn't his worst game. Wasn't his best game. Wait, Static, what was your rating for Zinni? Anyway, Gabby never less than 7. Yeah, I think he's completely underrated. We can't forget that at the end of last season, when everyone was crumbling, Gabriel, he's always fit as well. Gabriel was like the only one fighting sometimes in these games where you know everyone was just disappearing. He always shows up. I personally really like him. He was okay, but the whole defense was basically kind of off for these quick breaky goals. It wasn't his fault that we didn't score, really. So average for him. I'm going to give him a 5. 5. I don't know. That seems a bit harsh. I think he played well. You have jumped the gun. Let's give him a 6, just above average. And I'm using that on his standards, so he was okay. Sofa score. Gabriel battled. He always does. That's what I love about him. So sofa score. Have given Rice a 5 rating of the match for an Arsenal player, a 7.9. Interesting. I think Rice will. He's a bit like Gabby, where as he's so consistent and always shows up. I think that's good. I'm not sure I'd give him that high, but we'll go there. Fran, 1 out of 10 for Zinchenko. Sorry. This is so interesting how you can watch the same match and just completely see something different. So like it's mad. It's so crazy. But yeah, fair enough. Wahi kept both of him and Saliba on their toes. He got skilled at one point. Fair enough. Your rating's in line with Sofa Score 6.9 for Gabby they've given. I feel like I'm in an exam. Like, how do I compare with Sofa Score? But yeah, fair enough. Saliba, big. No, I'm not going to say that. Big William Saliba. Their ratings are too lenient, it seems. Yeah, I mean, a whole portion of this fan base, like, just like won't allow anything bad to be said about any of our players. And in fact, it was Terry on the Football Terrace saying that a couple of footballers had like been interviewed and they said they preferred like hearing criticism from the fans, not abuse, but constructive criticism, like what they've done wrong and right. Like they don't like their asses being licked, basically. Sorry for the language. Yeah. So it's always good to criticize, I think, and I like the way it turns my brain on and I'm trying to work out what people did well. It's just a fun way of like engaging in the match and trying to see what each player is doing. So Phil says anything less than insult than a 7 would be an insult for King Saliba. King Saliba, I like it. Fran, I'm harsh, but definitely fair. And we lost the game. Yeah, we did lose the game. Thank you for reminding me, Static. I still can't believe we lost. Okay, anyway. Right, Saliba. Big Saliba. He wasn't completely accurate with his passing. Early on, he like missed a ball to Tomiyasu, I noticed. And it was a sign of just like defensively not being quite on it, which I feel like I've said too many times this season. Him and Reiss are both responsible for not picking up Tomiyasu for their equaliser. And for that while could he have been better? But often I feel like Saliba's just expected to like be the last man standing in every scenario, and he can't do it all on his own. Just poor communication between a strong back line, I think. Just being caught out on those breaks. But Saliba's always good, isn't he? But it wasn't his best. It was not his best. So Bargav, you reckon a 4. Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, by the way. While he could have run in behind multiple times, he cut out some, not all. You're right. While he, he didn't pick that Tomiyasu goal. You know, he wasn't completely switched on, I don't think. Like, their players outsmarted our defence. And it wasn't his best game. It wasn't. King Willie. 6.5 if I could, or just the 6. I'm kind of thinking 6. I'm always joking. Don't take it seriously, Static. It's okay. So Fran, thoughts? ESR, does he have a future at Arsenal? I think so. But does Arteta think so? I hope so, because whenever he comes on, it seems to really boost the team. So Trossard given the lowest rating apart from Raya. Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. So I'm going to give Saliba the same as Big Gabby, which was a 6. They both just didn't have the best game, but they weren't terrible. So anyway. Right, Tomiyasu. This is an interesting one, quite polarizing. Some people seem to think that Tomiyasu played like amazingly. I personally saw a few mistakes. You can never fault his work rate. You know, I mean, we're not going to say a player has played well because they worked hard for Arsenal, are we? That's just like a basic expectation. I thought he was a little bit sloppy. And can someone please explain to me like why you thought Tomiyasu had such a good game? I wanted Tommy to start. And I don't think he was like particularly way worse than Ben White. He did run up the wings a bit more than White sometimes does. But I thought he did well, to be fair. I thought he filled in fine. I don't know. What do you think? What notes have I got? I barely have like any notes for Tommy. I think that just shows that he slotted in well, came in, helped out, did his job. However, the note I do have for him saying early on he seemed slightly panicked and was misplacing some passes. I do also think that as well as Raya, Tomiyasu could have done better in the run-up to them equalising, because he just stands there and waits for Raya's long ball to arrive on his head, and the other player from their team basically shows him up by running in front of him and getting the ball first. Exactly. I don't get it. So Arsenal Manic, you're asking why was Tommy getting such high ratings by some? He was average. I know Lee Gunner and those guys were saying he was the only player that showed up. I just didn't see it myself. We're gonna get to Trossard. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Tommy was pretty good, but a 6. I don't see it, Static. Like why was he better? He can hold his head up high. He was better than the rest. Fran, not fan, Soz. I'll be your fan, Ravi. I don't get the high rating. Lucky not to get rainbow flicked. Missed the easiest finish. He did miss a really easy finish. He was average, but played better than everyone else. Facts. Hiya, Fran. We just wrapped up. I'm so sorry to miss the second half. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on earlier. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Puna Gathering, go and subscribe. We're going to do some stuff over the international break, hopefully. So... who was that incredible pass to Tommy from, eh? Bargav? I don't know. Guna Gathering, you guys, what are we rating Tomiyasu? I think he was just kind of average like the rest of the back line. And when all of our back line is not 100% switched on, then other teams can take advantage of it. And I think this is something that we're seeing in Europe. It was unfortunate, just like any mistake, like playing City, isn't it? Any mistake, and it seems like these teams will capitalize on it. We just can't be making these mistakes. The standards are high for a reason. You know, these are the best teams in Europe. And there was a lot of talk about it's only the French league, but the French league is still like one of the top 3 leagues on the planet, arguably. So these are some of the best players in the world, arguably. Did okay, nearly scored. Nearly scored? I nearly score sometimes. That's a bit harsh, though. Can't Arsenal Manic saying, yeah, he didn't make the most mistakes, in my opinion. Is that judging? Is that a sad state of affairs for a game? The best player didn't make made the least mistakes. Yeah, I want to see outstanding performances, not who made the least mistakes. And in Europe, I think every game you have to play out of your skin. You can't just turn up and play your usual game. You have to raise your levels for games and nights like these, like the Lens players did. I think they really, really stepped it up, and we just came in and thought we could play our usual game. Disrespected the business competition. You've got to be playing out of your skin on nights like this, and our players weren't even up to their usual level. Not good enough. So I thought we just did not get the intensity up enough. For that away match, Lens fans were defo up for it. We needed more. Very well said. Everyone was crap. Tomiyasu less crap. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Fair enough. Right. Declan Rice. So apparently he got the highest rating on SofaScore, which is interesting. And I think that does reflect like just how much of a quality player he is. However, again, he wasn't quite up to his usual standards. I saw him make a few sloppy passes, gave it away a few times. He is also at fault, I feel, for picking up Tomiyasu with Saliba. And I did notice, however, he's running sometimes with the ball a bit more, which is kind of what I've wanted to see, like him getting a bit more involved in our attack. However, I do feel like the game is slightly rigged against him because you've got the back line and Rice is in front of him, the lone pivot, just completely on his own, trying to absorb every single threat. He's like putting out fires everywhere, like playing whack-a-mole. So completely on his own. And, you know, do you bring like some of the defenders slightly higher up to help him? Can you play a double pivot? I just feel like I feel bad for the guy. He's having to stop every threat before it gets to the defenders. And that means sometimes he's beaten and then he's left, you know, running back, trying to catch up. It's a really hard position for him, I think. I feel like he needs a bit more help in there. Right, goes around, catches on, you reckon? Your pod feels like the most therapeutic post-match Lens one. Thanks to your enthusiasm and humour. Thank you. Although Bargav reckons I'm too happy. I'm going to try and not smile. I'm messing. I love you guys. Thank you so much. No one probably should have started for Saka or that Bournemouth match. Maybe Saka should have been taken off rather quickly. Yes, we'll get to the manager ratings. Don't worry, we've got manager ratings coming. and we'll talk about the Saka substitution. Although you did miss at the beginning where we kind of discussed the Saka injury. So if you have time, go back and listen to that bit if you could be asked. So Rice 7.5, never less than a 7.5. Bosh Bertie, I love you, man. Rice was the best out of a bad bunch, 7. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the team around him let him down and he was being asked to do too much. Not necessarily that he had a stinker of a performance. So I think you're about right with a 7. Rice needs Partey. Yes, I'm so longing to see that double pivot of Rice and Partey. Just Havertz doesn't do much anyway. Sorry, just like switch him out for Partey. Yeah. Every good party needs Rice. Absolutely. Last night I had a work party, so that's my sister and like 3 of my friends. We all do gardening together. It was really cute, and we got a takeaway curry, and so it was a work party, and we had rice. So every good party does need rice. That's a cool story, and you've all tuned out. I'm kidding. Never apologize for being too happy. 19 likes. Like and subscribe. Should Rice be captain? Down the line, I think, certainly. 19 likes, guys. We've had like 1 like in the last 10 minutes. I'm leaving. No, I'm kidding. It must get very tiresome. As a YouTube viewer myself, I get very annoyed with constantly being asked to hit the like button. But if everyone else is doing it, then I must do it too. It's like the rat race. Hit the likes. Anyway, Jack, hello, welcome. So I agree with you guys. We're going to give him about a 7. Wait, 22 likes. Thank you. We're aiming for 40. Please, I've been prepared all day. And I rewatched the game. Please lend me your finger for a like. We're going to try and get to 600 subscribers by Halloween. So thank you. I know it's tedious, but apparently it really helps. The algorithm gods like it. It's an offering to the algorithm gods. To be fair, rude not to like. Thank you. It's so silly. Like, no. Anyway, it's got to be done. Right. Kai Havertz. Okay. I need to take a minute to gather myself for this one. I'm trying. I'm really, really trying. And I know that the odds are stacked. Let me go back. So I'm seeing players like Maddison ripping it up. So that's making it a bit worse for me in my brain, like a little mealworm. When we got the news reports about us being interested in Havertz, I was one of the people joyously listening to Chelsea podcasts all of last season who were constantly banging their heads against a brick wall because of Havertz. So my impression of Havertz had kind of been formed by these Chelsea people saying he's absolutely useless, he misses sitters, he's a ghost. And I wanted him nowhere near the club. It was the most left-wing, like, out of the blue, like, weird signing for me. Like, no one asked for it. No one. And I just take myself back to that place. But then, oh my God, we find out that we're actually signing him. And, you know, you try and say, right, let's wipe the slate clean. Kai Havertz at Chelsea, that's old Kai Havertz, right? He's starting afresh at Arsenal. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, clean slate, all of that. Let's get behind the guy. And as a person, I think he's awesome. Like the whole donkeys thing, nice. He seems like a really nice person. He seems funny. However, to me, it looks like not much is changing, or at least not quick enough since the Chelsea thing. And every criticism that I was listening to those guys saying all of the last like 3 years or whatever is still happening at Arsenal. And why would Arteta and those guys think that it would be any different? You know? Look, let me 60 million down the drain. Kai 6.5 played okay for me. This wasn't even it wasn't his worst game. It wasn't. Shy guy. I prefer the Nintendo bad guy character. At least it causes more problem than Jaws himself. We're not calling him Jaws. I wanted Maddison at Arsenal. Someone concerning about Kai is that he's been off form for around 3.5 years now. that's just, I'm still trying. I'm trying to get over that. But what I wanted after being so close at the end of last season, bring in some ready-made players where we're going to look at it and go, yes, that's what we need. They're going to raise the level of the team and we're going to get over that final hurdle, get those couple more points, avoid those draws. Declan Rice, fantastic, yeah? But Kai Havertz, we've been saying the whole time that this is going to be a signing that he'll have to fall on his sword for. It could either make or break our title challenge because it's such an important position. And why are you bringing in a player that's been out of form, as you say, for 3.5 years, and you have to try and somehow turn his form around, unlock the Kai Havertz which we saw at Leverkusen? Is that Kai Havertz even still in there? Did Kai promise, yeah, we're going to get that me back? And he still could. Let me caveat, he still could. But is it going to be too late? This is the season where I wanted to see us really push on. Get Kai Havertz as a development player and get someone ready-made for 35, 40 mil, like James Maddison, for example, rather than pinning all of your hopes on Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira, who we also know is not really up to the standards that we need to be pushing for the league. Oh, I've totally lost my train of thought. But you understand? You get where I'm coming from? I just despair. And Kai Havertz, I know you're watching. I'm messing. But it's up to you, Kai. You can completely switch this narrative. We are a fickle fan base, okay? Look, if Xhaka can turn around from swearing at all the fans, telling us to F off, us wanting him out for years, yeah, if he can turn things around and become like a cult hero, then you can do it very, very quickly, Kai. It's up to him. I don't know if you guys have seen Monty Python and Now for Something Completely Different, where they're like, are you a man or a mouse? And look, don't get me wrong, I'm seeing gradual improvements in Kai Havertz, but is it going to take like a whole season to get him there? Is it going to be like a Grealish player where it's a year until he's fully cooking in this system? Why didn't you get someone that you know could immediately improve us, be an upgrade on Xhaka? At the moment, Kai isn't even doing as much as Xhaka was doing. To me, it's just inexcusable. Didn't want him, didn't need him. Arteta a fool on this one. Havertz, a luxury buy, a player we never needed and we still don't need him. Yep. Too much. If he was a £35 million player, I'd still be like, why are we getting him? And get like another player that we know is going to perform. Why give Chelsea money? Yeah. Is he a centre midfield? That's the thing. All the Chelsea players were saying, like, genuinely, we don't know his best position. So, Cam, is he a Cam? That's a good question. Is he a Cam? I don't know. Arteta must see something. Like, he's earned my trust. Yeah, it's tenuous at the moment, but he must have seen something where he thought this guy will play well in central attacking midfield. I personally thought he was coming in for a bit of height, a different option in the box, ping a long ball in when we can't break down a low block like we were playing against Lens, and this guy can hit in some headers because he's like 8 foot tall. But no, it's just a direct Xhaka replacement. And what pisses me off, sorry for the language, is that is the position that ESR has been training up for. And you're putting Kai in, leaving Kai in, and he's getting marginally better, but it just winds me up when I take a step back and think about the kind of caliber of player we needed in that position to this, a project player. How long's the project? So he's one of the highest paid players in the Prem. But hard to be as good as Odegaard, as he works harder than anyone and such great two-touch play like Arteta likes. Yeah, Odegaard's great. Odegaard was not great, though, in this game. You, Bargav, reckons, wonder what would happen if he was played up top. Yeah, that's apparently where his best position is. I just don't get, like, to me, he looks like he's running in quicksand. He just looks like slow motion, and I don't even see, like, little tiny spurts of speed or intensity. I've seen, like, a couple this match. It really wasn't his worst, but, like, nowhere near enough of, like, a firecracker of a player. I just don't see it. So Our fans won't allow better players than the current starting 11 to be signed. I hope that's not the case. Man City may not be a bad shout for Kai up top. I feel so sorry for ESR, Havertz replacing him. Yeah, like, look, the comments are flying since we started talking about Kai Havertz. It's like there's a clause in Arteta's contract that he must sign a Chelsea reject. Yeah, 22 likes, like and subscribe. Yes, let's try and get to 40 likes. Please, I rewatched that match. I'm losing my mind. Thank you. I wanted Madison too. Kai Flexible, Cross the Pond, blah, 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 Monty Python. Funny you should mention Monty Python. Let's not get sidetracked. I'll read this comment out. As some Arsenal fans are saying, keep going. It's only a flesh wound. It's but a scratch. So that's from Monty Python and what is it? The Holy Grail. And this guy gets all 4 of his arms chopped off. That's literally Saka. No. So he's this Black Knight and he gets, I don't know if you guys have seen it, he gets all of his limbs chopped off and he's still like waving this sword around going like it's only a scratch. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Saka would keep playing if he had no legs. He'd be like, nah, I'm fine. You have to say like, no, Saka, sit out. Like, I love him, but protect him. Hello. I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. Or I might have forgotten. Thank you. You've come in. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. His use of ESR is ridiculous. Honestly. You know what gets to me? The double standards. Sorry, like, so ESR. So do you remember Nketiah saying, you'll only see the best of me if I get starts, right? And Arteta has given Eddie like so many chances to start a game and stuff because apparently he said like that's where you'll see the best of him. But how is he expecting ESR to come in and show the standards necessary when he's not giving him like the time of day or the minutes to try that? And he's giving these other players, like, he's playing Havertz into form. Is Havertz getting that? Yes. You know, is it because it's 65 million and he's trying to save face? I don't know. ESR starting to look good again, a little bit better. Quote The Simpsons, it's still good. So that guy lost his mojo from how the fan treat him getting behind the player. What, Kai Havertz or ESR? But you should see my disclaimer at the beginning. This is not anything about like these people as a person. Like if I see him, I'd have so much respect for him and stuff. But we can analyze the game and like criticize the performances and stuff. I don't think there's nothing against him as a person. I don't condone like online abuse of any kind. If he's receiving vile messages, any of it, like, however, like constructive criticisms about what you think they're doing well, not doing well, that's fine. If you allow, I'm not gonna come and sit on a stream and just be all roses about something that I did see flaws in. I'm not trying to dig it out. I actually like the guy. I started by saying I really like Kai Havertz and I think he's like a cool guy. But, you know, for Arsenal's team, it's okay to, like, criticise what's going wrong, what's going right. But that's fair enough, Jack. Like, I'm sorry. Sorry if I'm a bit too negative. So I saw it's only a scratch of meme on Instagram a few days ago, lol. Yeah, I missed that. But so Bargav saying, welcome to a big club. Yesterday, PSG fans hung the screen. Ask them how their club is. It's part and parcel. Yeah. These players, you know, it's sad, but like criticism is part of being in a public eye. Even just as like a little YouTuber, or if you choose to be in the public eye, you'll get criticized, and that's abuse is wrong. But having people, I'm a singer. If someone people comment on my singing videos and stuff, saying like, "Oh, you're doing this wrong. You sound like this. You sound like this. You sound like this." It's of being in the public eye. And abuse is wrong, but criticism's fine. You just have to deal with it. And these players like know that. But abuse is wrong, obviously. Your pod is cathartic. That's the word I was searching for. Good. I'm feeling a little bit lighter already. And after this, I'm going to go and re-traumatize myself. So I'm going to go to the cinema and watch the new Saw film. So can't wait. Can't wait. I love to suffer. Static said, Fran, it's never personal towards players as people. It's about them as football players, nothing else. Yeah, and I do art, and I don't mind. So it's their craft, right? It's like someone looking at my artwork and saying, which they do, like, you've got his nose completely wrong, like, this part looks horrible, blah, 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 blah. They're not saying, like, Fran, you're a horrible person. I'm not saying, Kai, you're a horrible person. But I'm looking at his craft and saying, I don't like this part that he does. You might like that part. I like this part. You don't like this part. It's just, it's there. So, that image of Kai reminds me of Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Let me look up who that is. Sorry. Splinter. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No! We're not going to go there. So Michael's saying Saka doesn't continually pick himself and decide not to sub himself off. Havertz doesn't pick himself. This is all on Arteta's inability to manage his squad. He's a coach, not a manager. I've heard a few people saying this. To be fair, I think it's 50-50. It is about who Arteta chooses to play, but it's also about the players having self-pride and performing the absolute best they can. And they can also have a bad game, which like Arteta can't control. So I think it's kind of a bit of both, but it is so much on the play. I believe. So, sorry. Okay. Slight digression. I grew up like watching no telly because I lived like in the middle of nowhere in Spain, so we didn't get like TV signal, and back then there wasn't like Wi-Fi and on demand and stuff, so I just missed like most of the stuff like in the 90s and 2000s that my friends watched. So don't come at me, okay? It was mad. I'll have to tell you some stories about that at some point. I woke up and there was a scorpion on the inside of my mosquito net, but that's all for another time. 24 likes. Okay, 16 more likes and we hit the magic 40. We managed to get 30 last time, which is a new record. So it's ambitious trying to get to 40, but I believe in you guys. Come on. I hate like being pushy like that. But anyway, you are Amish, basically. No, I don't want to make any assumptions about any religions. Fran saying for a while, I understand what you mean. Okay, anyway, you guys are too distracting. Let's go on to Martin Odegaard. I like this photo. So, right, I wasn't too happy with Martin Odegaard. So basically, what I've written is there was a real lack of urgency, and I was trying to work out why. So I think he was trying to be like a calming influence. In that frenzied atmosphere at Lens, but it was quite negative play. They did pack the box, to be fair, and we were trying to loosen it, but he all the time, like I was saying before, he could have turned and shot a lot but kept turning around, passing back. He was off the pace and not up to his usual precise standards, but he was playing very negatively today, just very negatively. No more jaws. Oh my god, Havertz. Did we forget Havertz's rating? I got... Wait, hold your horses, guys. Havertz. So that being said, Havertz not his worst game. I'm going to give him a 6. I do see incremental improvements, but that's like 1 or 2 moments in a game where he chooses to drive forward with the ball. And, bless him, like at the beginning of the season, he wasn't, we used to see him never drive forward with the ball and pass back. So I do see him like slowly improving. But for me, like, it's just frustrating that it's happening so slowly. And I can tell like he's a sensitive guy, like it's slow progress, like Arteta's nurturing him. It's like growing a tiny little confidence seed, all of that. I do get it. But as a fan, and it's not Kai's fault either, like I totally understand. It took me, like, I'm not a very confident person, whatever, but like as a fan watching, I find it so frustrating that that's the player you've brought in who is so slowly like coming up to scratch with it. Maybe he'll explode tomorrow, who knows. But that being said, it is a little bit better. But is it going to be this slow, the rate of improvement? Will we finally see like a super explosive Kai Havertz on the final game of the season when we're like 3rd, 4th, 5th? So that being said, I'm going to give him Arsenal Manic's not having it. Bless him. He's only on 300k per week. Let's set up a GoFundMe and give strokes like you stroke a cat. You make a fair point. You do make a fair point. you do make a fair point. Yeah, let's not talk anymore about that. I'm giving him a 6. Havertz, okay, next Odegaard. You know, that's like, that's not on like him as it's on like his performances based on like his last performance. So like for him it was like, okay, who knows? It's not not an exam. So Martin Odegaard, I like that photo. I like that more than most of his entire performance. So let's go back to what you guys think. That little duck, the StreamYard thing, has like ruined my graphics. I'm gonna have to actually put my hand in my pocket and upgrade soon. Right. So Odegaard saying, help me. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about forgetting Havertz's rating. Herb Garden. Is that Odegaard? What? I've been wondering who Herb Garden is. Explain that to me, please. So Martin put it right on the feet for Kai. Yes, Tommy and more. What a great playmaker. Always 7 out of 10. It wasn't his best game, but he does always create something. A bit like Saka, even when he's not having a good game, he will put it right on the feet of Kai and Tommy, and those guys were so unclinical, and it's just making me think even more that we need like someone even more clinical in January, maybe an Ivan Toney, maybe not. You reckon a -5. Bargav saying, I'm going to refrain on this one. Some must always be worshipped. I don't know if you're being sarcastic there, you know, having a little dig at the toxic positive Twitter crowd. I mean, I think he was okay. You guys gave Havertz a slightly lower rating than me. Phil makes an interesting point saying Joe Linton was the worst striker Newcastle ever bought, but is now a brilliant midfielder, so anything is possible. You're so right. Like, Joe Linton is a beast now. But Newcastle were kind of in a slightly different position in the process, you know, whilst developing him. And I feel like we really needed to push on from coming second. If you're going to get a developmental player, get someone that's also ready to go. I don't know. So Odegaard, you guys reckon a 6. Odegaard, help me, I'm not a captain thumbnail. Bro. I'm not going to crucify you. It's certainly not the style of captaincy that like I prefer. Having like played team sports and stuff, I prefer someone who's just going to like yell at you basically. I do understand like the subtlety, like leading by example, like nice, quiet, shy, polite captain, but it's not really for me. But he's good, obviously. You can take off the StreamYard logo. No. It won't let me. I have to upgrade. Don't do me like that. Okay, like the players you worship. Odegaard 2. Oh my god. I call Odegaard and Herb Garden because I'm rubbish at remembering names. Fair enough. The pass completion merchant. Yes, so he completed a lot of passes today, and I personally thought he was just really negative. Yeah, could have driven towards the goal many a time and instead turned around and passed it back. He was probably following instruction from Arteta, which was to dissect them with the 100 passes method. But as captain, you have to sometimes say, like, screw this game plan isn't working. I'm going to just turn and drive at the goal. We didn't see any of those beautiful, like, 30-yard shots that he takes sometimes. And we could have done with that, to be fair. Okay, anyway. Let's whiz through these because I've got to get to the cinema. I need to get there before midnight. It's like Cinderella because I've got a voucher that runs out at midnight for a free cinema ticket. We've got to finish these player ratings by midnight. Trossard, Leandro. I wanted him to start, but I think he was kind of stitched up today. I've got lots to say about Trossard, but we'll whiz through it. So his direction was clearly, at least in the first half, to stay wide and do exactly what Martinelli does. But the problem is he's so different of a player to Martinelli. And he's so much less direct than Martinelli. At least in that game, he played much more direct. So the whole first half, he's way out there, out wide on the wing. He's clearly been told to play out there, which is not his position. And he looked uncomfortable out there. He looked a bit like a duck out of water. So he was trying to stretch their deep narrow block. Saka was really wide out this way, which is fair enough, but their team didn't fall for it. They stayed just as narrow, and Trossard was left out there like in the middle of loads of space, but not really demanding the ball, didn't really get the ball. No one passed him the ball, even though he was in really good space, but he wasn't really asking for it. He was just kind of standing there. He did come back. He put in the effort. I'm not going to lie. Like, he came back and defended in our box a lot. Like, came all the way back, which, fair enough, worked great. But he was quiet. He was really quiet, especially in the first half. He did come back and help defend, but at 2 minutes, he got the ball, got involved, and lost it straight away. It was that kind of night for him, not a night. I think he plays better when he's been given like consistent game time, like we saw after January last year. I don't think he's like enjoying or really thriving in being this like substitute off the bench player. I think he needs to play like he did in Brighton, all game, every game, basically, to see the best of him, because he's looked so much worse since he's come to us, and he's only getting the odd bit of game spell. That's what I think anyway. So yeah, I think he plays better in dense central areas, and he could have drifted in more, used like his initiative to just say like, I'm not getting the ball out here, I'm just going to go in and get involved, even if it annoys the manager, blah, blah, blah. A bit of movement. I think we looked uncomfortable. And I'll be honest, I didn't get to finish watching the second half rewatch, so let's see what you guys are saying. You reckon he's still injured? I wasn't laughing at that comment. I was laughing at the don't leave your shoe. Yeah. Trossard 0. Odegaard savage. Trossard Lossard. He was lost. And good point. I think he might still be injured. Martinelli's not fit, so bring back Trossard like as soon as possible, even if he's not quite fit. The injury discussion is a whole other thing. But I think it's mainly down to like, we'll talk about that another time. Maybe an international break, we'll just talk injuries and why and how to stop it. So across the pond saying, me too, hope Trossard would take over that match with some brilliance, but he couldn't get into it. No, he couldn't. And I think he just hasn't had the minutes. He's not match fit. He might be physically fit, but he's not been playing. He's not been in the environment. He's not like mentally switched on yet. You need minutes. You're giving Kai Havertz, sorry, let me just go back to this. You're giving Kai Havertz all these minutes to get up to scratch. Eddie Nketiah, not so much recently, playing them into form. But you're not giving players like ESR or Trossard these minutes. How are they expected to play themselves into form when they're just coming in completely cold off the bench? I know there's injuries, but to me it's just a bit unfair. So you reckon Trossy 5.6 didn't get enough time on the pitch and doesn't. I love Trossard, but he was so bad. He was making some crazy mistakes. Have I watched the Mr. Bean clip at the cinema? If not, check it later. I probably have, but I can't remember it off my head. Trossard 3 just for putting his boots on. Yeah. 25 likes, guys. 15 to go. Come on, let's do this. Oh, press the like, and also if you click share and then just click copy link, that's like another thing that tricks the algorithm into thinking that like this stream share. So if you're completely bored and have nothing better to do, click share and click copy link, and then that's basically a like, another like, and that would just make my sad little life. So 2, that opportunity was flushed. Maybe it was flushed as well. Stop, don't distract me. But the view in the cinema. Okay, so quick side quest. So the view that I'm going to tonight, I'm going on my own, by the way, because no one else can make it. It's so sad. I just thought of someone who might be able to. Interesting. anyway, next time. So the View, they've like redone all of the View, and it's all like recliner seats and stuff. And I don't know if that's normal everywhere else, but I'm like out in the middle of the countryside, so that's luxury. And I got a free cinema voucher. It runs out at midnight. So I'm going to go after this, hopefully forget about Arsenal, and watch some of the beauty of the new Saw film. Anyway, Lottie! Oh, now you pop up. Now you pop up. She's the reason why I'm going on my own. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So that's Lottie, as you guys know, my twin sister. She works so hard. She's my boss. She does the gardening thing with me. TMI. But basically, she couldn't make the cinema tonight. So I'm going on my own anyway. It's your loss, Lottie. It's your loss. No, don't go by your own. Yeah, I'm going to go by my own. Oh, thank you so much, Junior Gathering. You're just the best. Watching a Saw movie on your own at midnight, so brave. Honestly, it will be better viewing than us against Lens. I'm going to have to do a poll on the community page saying, would you rather watch the new Saw movie or a rewatch of Arsenal Lens? That was a horror show. That was true horror, trust me. Lottie has to go cinema with you tonight. Lottie, you're getting peer pressured. I'm going to come and collect you. You live in London. I live in the middle of nowhere. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Canada, it's just these new ones. Oh, the other is Landmark. But I recall when I lived in Scotland long ago, they had these really cute little intimate small theatres. Yeah. Oh, we had a little tiny one like that near me. I love Scotland as well. I'd love to move to Scotland. Anyway, I'm not gonna get to the cinema before midnight. On with the player ratings. I like these little chats though. I love it. Yeah, we're doing substitutes as well, Static. Buckle up. Ten Hag out, Lottie. We're not. Lottie supports Manchester United. That's a whole other discussion. Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel. So, having rewatched the game, I actually thought the first half he played really well. One of the few players that I think can hold his head up high. For most of the game, while everyone else was playing very, very passively, he's demanding the ball, running with the ball, looking like he's going to make something happen. Him and Saka and Zinny, at least for the whole first half, which is the main half that I rewatched, were being really effective, making things happen, demanding the ball, being all of that. Very good. Just classic Jesus stuff. But he looked to be the only one that was trying. Everyone else was just hiding. The whole front five, apart from Saka, when Saka had gone off, he was just the only one trying to do anything. And he was also completely well marked and mainly cancelled out by their defenders. So a 6 for me. Because not really his fault. I do think actually you're right. I do think he was better than the defenders. Yeah, so you guys reckon only a 7. Lottie saying great stream, enjoy the cinema. You're cheeky. Thinking too much about Cinderella, having watched the ball. That game was not a fairy tale, let me tell you. Oh my gosh, we're nearly at 2 hours. Ten Hag no better than Solskjaer. Try traveling from Southampton to Newcastle. Jeez, no thank you. I hate driving. So yeah, Jesus 7, I'm giving him. Bukayo Saka, not much to judge him on. He was only on the field for 20 minutes, but on that time on the field, arguably not 100% fit. He played really well. As I said, him, Zinny a little bit, but mainly him and Jesus were driving with the ball, actually driving towards a player. None of the other players had the guts to do that. They were just turning and passing it back. No one was trying to actually get through into the box. Apart from Saka, and then he goes down injured at 30 minutes and is taken off. It's looking like the injury might not be as serious as maybe we first thought, but there's no doubt that he needs time off. We've been saying it for weeks, haven't we? You're running him into the ground. We've been saying it for a year. Hopefully this injury isn't too serious. For me, he shouldn't have started. In my starting 11, he didn't start. If we really needed him for 10 minutes at the end, bring him on, but protect the boy. Reiss Nelson deserves minutes. You said Jesus 4.5, Saka hard to rate 5, I guess. Come on, peeps, hit the like button. Thank you, Arsenal Manic. Please hit the like button. Lottie, I hope you've hit the like button. And click the share, but you don't actually have to share it. Saka 0. Whoa. Saka 8 for the right leg, 5 for the left leg. Get well soon, Saka. Yeah, for the minutes that he was on, he was one of the most effective players. So I can only judge him on the time that he was on, and for that he's going to get a 7 from me. Just as good as Jesus. So that's my rating. You guys reckon 8, 5, 0. Savage. Lottie Sini's here. Hey Lottie. 7 for Saka. Right. Substitutes. So let's go. Emile Smith-Rowe. So he is brought on in the which minute? Yes, there was which minute is he brought on? Well, let me find. Sorry, one sec. So, substitutes. Yes. So Smith-Rowe's brought on 71st minute. 20 minutes, still kind of plenty of time to do something. So White, Smith-Rowe, and Nelson come on at the 70th minute, and Nketiah is given 10 minutes at the end. He's not really going to do much there, is he? But so with 20 minutes to come on, Smith-Rowe is given a chance. He was taken off for Havertz, and I think personally this should have happened sooner. But as for his performance, what do you guys think? At this point, I think the momentum of the game had shifted, and that their team was looking really confident. And Emile Smith-Rowe didn't have as much of an impact as like I would have liked, but they were making it hard for us. I love Smith-Rowe, and I do feel like every time he is brought on, there's a real boost to the team. You know, a real like, you know. So we are rating Arteta. Don't worry. Don't worry. He wants to get to the Arteta rating ASAP. Yeah, we see you, Static. We see you. Our new blue greens 0-1. Yeah, that kit. Let's not wear that kit again. No. I hate the collar of that kit, by the way. It's like nah. So across the pond reckon 6. You reckon 2. Smith-Rowe 7 for youthful enthusiasm. He does have that. Although he looks a little bit jaded, I'm not going to lie. I'd be a bit fed up if I was him. I don't think he had a huge impact. He was okay. Did he have any? He didn't really have a stinker. I'm going to give him a 5.5 or a 6. Just average. Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen a bit more of an impact from him, but I don't think he's being given enough minutes to actually play himself into form like players like Havertz are in that position, for example. Give Yazar a bit more time and see what he can do, but now you've lost that option because he's too cold and you can't start him against City because he hasn't had the minutes in him. So 5.5 for me. Let me know what you think. Right, so Reiss Nelson got involved in a bit of argy-bargy towards the end. He again only had 20 minutes. He came off for Trossard. Trossard was doing nothing. Did Nelson do much more than him? What did you guys think? I think the game had already got away from us by this point. I had youthful enthusiasm in 1996, says Phil Macker. Prince William at Villa Park. Very nice. Still 0-0. Boring scoreline though. Nelson 6. Okay, so pretty much like, I mean, should the substitutions have possibly made a bit more of an impact? You think bringing on a triple sub of White, Smith-Rowe, and Nelson? White seems just like a pointless substitution. I mean, it's quite a negative substitution, isn't it? It's just basically like, let's not concede another goal. But I think bringing on Smith-Rowe and Nelson just after we concede the second goal is quite a positive substitution. And you'd expect them to like give the team a boost, and it just didn't. We didn't have a single shot in the next 15 minutes. But to be fair, the other team had closed ranks. Like, they were making it really hard for us to get in there. But having said that, we managed to get 6 shots on goal in the final 5 minutes of the game. So, but again, like Nelson and ESR, they can't perform miracles, but they didn't have too huge of an impact. Although things did improve right towards the end of the game. So you're kind of thinking the same thing. Across the pond saying 6, Nelson saying 5.6. Phil, thank you so much for staying throughout the whole stream. I really appreciate that. I feel I'm sorry for like using up your whole evening. This is the longest stream ever, but we've got to get through it. So I'm going to say, agree with you guys and say Nelson 6. The other substitution was Benjamin White. To me, I guess it was just like shoring up the defense a little bit, but he didn't like majorly improve things. Perhaps it was just stopping the rot, which was them just completely exploiting Zinchenko's side. Average 5. It wasn't like outrageous. I was glad to see him rested though, because he has looked like really tired the last few games. I don't know why they're looking so tired, because we're only like 10 games into the season. Maybe there wasn't enough of a summer break with like all the international stuff. Who knows? 5 for me. And Eddie Nketiah. You guys know that I'm not Eddie Nketiah's biggest fan. What's he really supposed to do in 10 minutes though? You reckon Benny 10, huh? Ben 10? Darren, hey, coming in with no holds barred. I love your comments. You just say it how it is. So Darren saying Nelson 0, he was dog S. I don't know if I'm going to get like... I don't get monetized anyway. Let me just say it. He was dog shit. Kicked the ball into touch. Thought he was playing rugby. That's true. That's true. He just kept running it off the sideline. I forgot about that. Yeah, so we might have to revise our Nelson. So I totally forgot. Thank you, Darren. Where have you been all my life? Okay, we're going to have to like retrospectively remove some of his points. Okay, Nelson can get a 4. Sorry, Nelson. Right. Eddie. Yeah, what's he supposed to do in 10 minutes, really? What did you guys... I didn't manage to rewatch the part where Eddie had come on. And you're right, that is nice warm-up gear there for Nelson and Eddie. Those look like quite nice, much better. Even the warm-up kit is better than our performance. They look nice. I like the colour. I think I'd suit that. Anyway, so what do we reckon for Eddie? I don't think personally there was much he could do in 10 minutes. Although, having said that, we had the final 5-10 minutes of the game were actually really good. We actually kind of stepped up a little bit and looked like we gave a monkeys. And we had 6 shots out of the 11 that we had in the entire game were in the last 5 minutes. And that was when Eddie was on the pitch. So maybe they were just slinging long balls in towards Eddie. Maybe it was good to have a target man. But if that was the case, then why are you only giving him 10 minutes? Arteta out. Lottie, you're sorry. I know you're joking. You're just jealous because he's so beautiful. And he's got much better hair than Ten Hag. There's no rating that would do Eddie justice because he was so good. Eddie 4, no threat whatsoever. Only good one was Emile Smith-Rowe, who nearly scored. Yeah, Emile Smith-Rowe, it's just unfair. It's unfair. He's not getting enough minutes to like fully get himself back to the level we know he can be. But yeah, really rate Emile Smith-Rowe. So Eddie 4. I'm kind of agreeing. Nketiah 5, can't do much in 10 minutes, but was involved in that time. Let's give him a 4.5 then. Meet you guys in the middle. And thank you so much if you're still here. I've got to go soon. I've got to make the cinema in time. But I've really enjoyed this stream. I actually feel much, much better. So much of this I just needed to get off my chest. This game has killed me internally. And don't you worry, we are not today, but we're really going to talk about how we can improve things for Man City. So you're still here as well. Thank you, Arsenal Manic. Look at the snap of those two together. No defense will be fearful of that. Yeah, you might be right there. Manager rating, static. I don't know if you're still here, But I remembered this time. I remembered we've got the manager rating. This could be a controversial one. You know, some people, like, you can't say a thing wrong about the manager, and there's hindsight's 2020. Should Saka have played? Were the substitutions effective? Was it just that the players didn't play well? Was it the way that we were set up? Speak to me. Speak to me. 26 likes, guys. 14 more likes, please. If you're new, I want to try and get to 40 likes. It might be over ambitious though, because everyone's probably watching the football tonight, which is fair enough. Right, so we're at one end of the spectrum here. Darren saying this is a disaster. We're getting smashed on Sunday. Thank you, Static. I'm so glad you're still here. So 27 likes, you guys. Thank you. Can we get to 40? Anyway, who cares? Thank you so much. So Darren and Static, you have your stance on Arteta, and I respect that. So Arteta 0, get out now, says Static. Arteta 0, complete novice, sack him. And Static agrees with that, saying, hey, facts. 27 likes. Guys, I need a couple more opinions than 0 and 0. Does anyone have a rating? Calling. Can I get any offers higher than 0? How about you, the lady in the front row? Do I see your hand waving? Any offer higher than 0? Can I get a 0.5? Maybe a 1? Okay, here we are. Golartzo, big up, best Guna channel. Bro, thank you so much. That's so kind. Curtis Shaw's definitely the best Guna channel, closely followed by quite a few of you guys in the chat, Guna Gathering. And I've seen your message, Mile High Hotspur. I just haven't replied to it yet, but I've seen it. So I'll reply to you as soon as I can. I'm really bad at admin and replying. Just ask Guna Gathering. Yeah, big up. 28 likes. Thank you. We need some drawings, art. So yes, I agree. However, I'm very, very busy at the moment. But next, I'm drawing Bird Camp. So don't worry. I've ordered some good paper. But I'll show you a drawing. Your defense is in trouble. Nketiah in the room. Your defense is in trouble. Nketiah in the room. Your defense is in trouble. Nketiah in the room. Your Rambo. Here we are. Daily drawing. Yes. So that one's coloured pencil, and I promise. Well, I'll do another drawing soon. That's like my favourite. So yeah. Anyway, so Arteta rating. Look at him there, just going like, "Come on, bring it me." Arteta 5. Evening Static. I'm putting it on Arteta on Sunday. Certainly, there's questions to be asked about the transfer window for me. Because for me, he's finally got the backing. For me, I was saying that the owners need to pull it out of their pocket, you know, like show us that you mean business for this club. And we've spent 100 million on Declan Rice, spent 65 million, but has it been on the right players? For me, Havertz, not so far. So Mikel Arteta 5, Arteta 6.8, very precise. This is why I like you, Mile High Hotspur. You're very precise. You said a 3. Dan Sullivan, same. Respect, man. True story, law. Many Gunner channels out are quite good too. There are so many good Gunner channels. I'm biased, but Arsenal content. It's the first one that was big. We're good. I wish I could hit 5-time Fran. You are amazing women. Oh my god, thank you. Yeah, that's so kind of you. Birdcamp, respect, Fran. Yeah, I just got to find a good photo. Insane artist, what a talent. Would you guys be interested in me maybe? The idea was maybe to do some draw-alongs, but like, I don't know if you guys are interested in like the intricacies of like the portraits and stuff, because I can talk about that like as much as I can talk about football. But I just want to try and make it interesting. How can I make the art content like interesting for you? Because yeah, let me know. So you're okay, no rush at all. I'll be in London for the next NLD. Oh my gosh, I hope I will be too. That would be amazing. It'd be so cool to meet you. Rami just made me cry. That's it. I'm going after that Nketiah song. Nah, I'll stay. That Nketiah song is no. I'm a Michelangelo. Oh, thank you. That's so kind. We will turn on Arteta. It's only a matter of time. We'll have the Arteta discussion. I have a lot to say. I do have a lot to say. I'd love to. Yeah. Anyway. You can also do video uploads. That one about Timber was lit. Okay, maybe I'll do another one like the one I did of Timber. If you guys haven't seen that, go on my channel, and I did like this 6-minute like process video on how I did during Timber's portrait, which you can see behind me, and Timber like even liked it on Twitter. Only about 20 people liked it on Twitter, but one of them was Julian Timber. It was awesome. Okay, so I'll do another one like that. Let's big up Jez, the Arsenal history, and more. There are so many good Arsenal channels, but Jez is a real one. Jack's doing that. The manager gets a 6. Maybe he meant Michelangelo from Ninja Turtles. Don't kill my vibes across the pond, man. let me have it. So right, you're saying art aside, Mikel Arteta. You're saying 6. 3, 6.8, 5. Let's dig into it really quickly. So, as I said, I was quite happy with the team selection minus starting Saka, and the whole whether Saka should have started or not has really come into focus because he did end up starting and he did end up getting injured, which was kind of the worst possible scenario for Mikel Arteta. Is it his fault if the medical staff have cleared Saka? I personally think that the medical staff can clear Saka, but you've got to step back from just whether he's fit to play today and look back over the pattern of the last few games where you're seeing him barely coming off, able to walk the last few games, which to me suggests he's right at the edge of being overplayed, you know. So he's limping every game. You're not seeing him rebound as quickly from these knocks recently. You have to look at the overall trend of how the player is coping physically, and you can see that it's been going down, especially this season. So not just whether he can play today, but whether overall he's fit enough to play and could do with the rest. So you can criticize him for that, definitely. I think he could play, but should he have played? Are you lot losing patience with Arteta? Some definitely are. Some have never wanted him from the start and have really tried and given him time, and now they're just, especially after the frustration of last season and the whole bottling thing, and now you're getting Kai Havertz. I think that's really annoyed a lot of people. I'm personally not, but I'm seeing things that I'm still questioning. So hit the like, guys and gals. Feels like we aren't moving forward right now. Yeah, it feels like we're not better than last season. Yeah. We lost 2-1 at Lens and you got Saka injured. Rating has to reflect this. You're right. Okay, we need a drum roll. We need a drum roll. We need a drum roll. I thought the substitutions were okay. A lot of it was because players individually did not play well. They got overawed by the occasion. But overall, I don't think he's been giving some players too many minutes, like Havertz and Nketiah. Other players not enough minutes, like ESR and Trossard. So when they come on, they're completely cold. Make it a brush. 5, 4, no, 4, 5, because 5 for me, because I'm happy that I'm really happy that he actually took. Do you remember how annoyed we were last season when he'd play a complete B-string team for Europe? So some of you might think I'm being a bit kind there, but I'm going to give him a 5. I'm not sure what much more he could have done on the day to improve that result, because as soon as we went 2-1 down, he did a triple substitution and brought on ESR and Nelson on about the 70th minute rather than like 90th minute, you know. So I think he was all right. So thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm very knackered as well, so I'm going to let you go. I can't believe you stuck around for 2 hours. You lovely man. Thank you. So Fran saying those are all valid points. Fran, 1 to 10, what did you give Rice so far? If you cycle backwards a little bit, we've gone through all of them. Oh, but so far he's done really well. 7.5. But there's more to see. Stag saying keep hitting the like button, everyone. Thank you. How many likes are we on? Can we get to 40 before I have to go to the cinema? I don't know if we can. I think I streamed at too busy a time today. So lesson learned. Right, where did this leave Arsenal? We're second in the group at the moment. Next we're playing Sevilla, which is it's just more pressure on these next games. Next match, as you know, we're playing Manchester City on Sunday. That's going to be so challenging. And we'll do a whole preview show on that. Probably Saturday. Oh, no, I'm at a games evening on Saturday. Maybe Saturday daytime, I might be able to do a preview show. Can't get enough of your presentation pods. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. They take so long. Thank you, guys. Thank you. 27 likes. That is accurate. Like and subscribe. Come on, let's at least get to 30 then. Maybe 40 was too ambitious to stay. But Saturday daytime, be there. We're going to get to 40. Final thoughts. Not good enough. We need to be better for Man City. But we'll talk all about Man City on Saturday. So again, thank you so much for being here today, guys. I know it was a really deep dive and really long and probably quite tedious for some of you, but I certainly feel therapized. I feel lighter. I don't think there's much more I can talk about. You know, I've got everything off my chest. I hope you may have enjoyed a little bit of it. Watch along Sunday at 4:15 on Guna Gathering. By the way, if you enjoy watch-alongs, they are second to none. So, Satik, I'm sorry for missing some of your comments. I'm sorry. Next time. Thank you. Enjoy the movie. Facts, Arsenal must do a lot better. Fran therapy. Lol. Yeah. I think that was good. Thank you so much for being there with me tonight. It makes it so much easier having the comments and having you guys there rather than just like talking at this bright light and at this empty screen. Like otherwise I'm just talking to myself. So thank you so much. Never tedious. That's going to be a good game this weekend. Big up chat, big up Golartzo. Thank you so much for jumping in, Mile High Hotspur. I'll reply to your message very soon. Guys, have a fantastic evening. Maybe I'll give you a quick review on the new Saw movie on Saturday, and I will see you on Saturday, all right? So please take care, look after yourselves, look after your mental health, do something nice for yourself today or tomorrow or whenever you have 5 minutes, and have a great rest of the week. Enjoy the build up to Man City, and I'll see you at the weekend. Goodbye.